Hello, everyone. Welcome to Orford Mining's live summit today, hosted by Six. I'm pleased to introduce our speaker, David Christie, President and CEO of Orford Mining. David's going to walk us through a company presentation, and after, we're going to be accepting questions live. So as a reminder, you can submit your questions on the Q&A panel on the right-hand side of your screen at any time today. As always, this event is being recorded, so it'll be available on demand in the coming days on Six.com. So look out for that. And with that, David, I'd like to hand things over to you so that you can get us started.
Thanks, Cameron. I'm just going to flip through here. I'm going to make some forward-looking statements, so I'll have you read those at your leisure. Just so you know, my name is Dave Christie. I'm the President and CEO of Orford Mining. We are an exploration company listed on the TSXV under the symbol ORM, and we're exploring for gold and nickel in Quebec. We have three key projects: the Qiqavik high-grade gold project, which is situated in the Nunavik region of Quebec, and what we believe is a brand new gold district. The Chatel District Gold projects, we're about to start a drill program any day now. And the West Raglan nickel project, situated 90 kilometers to the west of the Raglan project and the and the Canadian Royalties nickel mine, both in the Raglan belt and just sitting just south of our Qiqavik project in that same volcanic belt. This past year marked the second year of Wyloo Metals' earn into our West Raglan nickel project. Wyloo can earn up to 80% of the project by spending $25 million over 7 years and by completing a bankable feasibility study, with Orford carried until they complete that study. Orford is the operator of all the exploration programs currently. In the 2022 program targeted the highest priority squid EM anomalies outlined by Wyloo's first year of exploration on the project in 2021. There was well over 100 strong anomalies, and we drilled 9 of those in 2022. So plenty of targets already identified that could be followed up in 2023. Earlier this week, we released the results from our summer drilling program at West Raglan. Results have been slow due to assay lab delays. West Raglan is a 713 square kilometer property covering over a 50-kilometer strike length of the favorable south and north Raglan trends. The south trend is where the Canadian Royalty mine sits, and the northern trend is where the Raglan mine sits. This summer successfully intersected new high-grade nickel copper mineralization on the property. In total, 2,589 meters of drilling in 9 holes was completed on the property. And this is the first drilling on the property since Orford drilled in 2015 and previous operator drilled in 2010. And so not a lot of drilling has happened in recent years. The 2022 program included a collection of 939 frost boil samples, as well as 102 grab rock samples and geological mapping at over 1,000 stations. So a lot of work happened this past summer. Historically, much of the drilling in the property has been completed at the frontier zone. You can see that on this map, sort of in the northwestern portion of the property, which covers over 2 kilometers of the northern Raglan trend, which is the trend that the Raglan nickel mine sits on. Drilling on the frontier zone have yielded intercepts of up to 28.3 meters, grading 3.2% nickel, 1.3% copper, and about 3 grams per ton platinum palladium. So very high grade material. The 2022 program focused on the squid anomalies that could extend the frontier mineralization and on new targets or other places on the 50-kilometer strike length. The vast majority of the 713 square kilometer property is untested by drilling, and very little groundwork has been completed. We continue to make new surface showing discoveries, such as additional high-grade samples at the Big Potato showing you can see in the southwestern portion of the property, which requires more field work before we drill, but return grades of up to 2.7% nickel and 0.24% copper. These nickel-copper ratios are very high for the southern trend, which tends to be a 1-to-1 nickel-to-copper ratio, but very encouraging, whereas the northern Raglan trend is a 3-to-1 nickel-copper ratio. Geological mapping and sampling also returned up to 8% copper sample at the red lens to the east of Frontier, and a 2.9% grams per ton gold sample at Frontier. Should be remembered that, like Qiqavik, we're in an orogenic belt, and gold potential does exist on the West Raglan project. Drilling in 2022 was spaced by up to 35 kilometers, so very much prospecting with the drill. Hole 195 drilled in the Boomerang area, which is in the sort of northeastern portion of the project, returned 4.2 meters of 0.6% nickel and 0.16% copper and 0.44 palladium and 0.18 platinum, including 2 meters of approximately double that grade. So very good grade. This intersection is important, and it is the highest grade drilling intercept outside of the frontier zone on the property. And remember, very little drilling has occurred outside the frontier zone. We believe that additional nickel sulfide lenses could be found proximal to the Boomerang discovery, since nickel sulfide lenses tend to occur in clusters. Proximal to this hole, several new surface sample showings were discovered, grading up to 1.3% nickel and 0.35% copper. Again, very good grades. With such high-grade nickel-copper ratios being very encouraging for future exploration in this area. Holes 201 and 202 were drilled on the squid anomaly at the western edge of Frontier, and it intersected up to 13.5 meters of 0.5% nickel, 0.19 copper, and included 0.45 meters of 1.56% nickel and 0.27% copper. So very good grades. And this extended the size of the western lens by up to 30 meters to the west and down dip, and it remains open. The mineralization is consistent with what we've seen at the Raglan mine, with copper ratios of 3:1. Hole 203 was drilled at the Frontier Central, where very little drilling has occurred, but we have very thick packages of ultramafic volcanics. These are the key host for the nickel sulfide mineralization. Hole returned 4.35% or meters of 0.45% nickel and 0.04 copper. So very good grades again. And there was about a half meter inside that, which was about double that grade. All the intercepts in the drilling reported in 2022 are very similar to the vast majority of Xstrata's Raglan mine mineralization, with next textured pyrrhotite and pentlandite being the two key sulfide minerals, along with chalcopyrite. We believe there's vast potential to continue to discover more lenses at West Raglan. It should be noted that Xstrata's mine is composed of 92 distinct lenses in 25 zones, spaced by up to 25 to 50 kilometers. So we're not talking about one big mineralized body here. It's like pearls on a string, and that's exactly what we're looking for at West Raglan. And the Raglan mine sits at the bottom of the cash cost curve. And this is important to note, since we are in the very far northern end of Quebec, in the Arctic portion of Quebec. So we're very remote, but they're still making a lot of money, and they're at the bottom of the cash cost curve. A program of additional geophysics, geology, and drilling will be proposed to our partners at Wyloo in the coming weeks. And once that is approved, we'll announce the full plans for 2023. And as far as what we're up to right now, Orford is just about to start a 2,000 to 2,500 meter drill program at our Chatel Eagle project in the Chatel region of Quebec, in the Abitibi. Our project covers more than 10 kilometers of the Casa-Bardi South Break, and we sit on strike to Maple Gold's Eagle Mine property and the Maple Gold Agnico Eagle properties, where Maple Gold has been reporting some very good results. The Eagle Tel Bell mine, which is part of the property where Agnico Eagle's original gold mine operated until 1993, sits just to the east of us. And when it closed in 1993, very little exploration has occurred in the area since, until very recently. We have the same rocks and structure that cut through our property as Maple Gold and Agnico Eagle's properties to the east of us. So we're very encouraged by that, and we see those same mine horizons on our property. In 2022, we drilled 3 holes on the property on the South Gold Zone, and we intersect with thick mineralization close to surface. And this year, we will attempt to prove the continuity of that thick mineralization, which we believe has potential to be open pittable. And if we can do that, we think we can get to a resource fairly quickly, creating value for Orford and Orford shareholders. We're very excited about this drilling program, and it should start about the 21st of January. That's all I have today, Cameron.
All right, fair enough. Thanks for the presentation, David. And just as a reminder to everyone in the audience, if you do have any questions, feel free to ask them in the Q&A. And Dave, the first question we have from Isabel, has Big Potato ever been drilled?
No.
Fair enough. What are your upcoming catalysts for the next 6 months?
So for the next 6 months, the first catalyst will be we're going to start drilling at Chatel. So I think that's going to be quite exciting. And that'll happen on the 20th or so of this month. And after that, I think the next catalyst will be the decision from our partners at Wyloo on what we're going to do for 2023. So we'll make a proposal to them on what we think we should do, and we'll go back and forth with them and hopefully come to a plan in the next month or so. Then it'll be the results from our Chatel drilling sometime probably in late March, early April. And after that, we'll propose a program for both Kegavik and West Raglan and move forward from there.
All right, sounds like a plan. Could you go over and review your cash situation right now?
Yeah, right now I think we're sitting around well over $2 million in the bank, 2.5-ish probably. And that's enough to get us through the Chatel drilling and support all our administration needs for the year. It is not enough to support a Kigavik drill program this coming summer. So when we know what we're doing at West Raglan, because the two projects go together, we use one can for both projects. We'll move forward with a proposal for Kigavik and West Raglan at the same time. And at that point in time, we'll need to raise some money.
All right, fair enough. Well, David, that looks like all the questions we received for today. So I want to thank you and everyone in the audience, especially those who've asked questions, for coming on today and making this summit what it was. But David, with that, I want to pass things over to you for some closing remarks, if you have any.
Yeah, just, I think we in this time when we're looking at battered group metals, we've got probably one of the preeminent nickel projects in Canada. We're sitting right next door to two of the world-class nickel mines. Not many nickel projects in Canada have that kind of address. So I think that's a key thing to look at with our company, and we already have high-grade discoveries there. And then we've got a brand new gold district at Kigavik. We're hitting high-grade at surface across the entire project. We've only been on the project probably about 40 weeks in total so far, so very early days. But we've done a lot of work there, and our learning curve has increased drastically. So another big program coming up this summer. And of course, as Chatel, we believe we're going to add a lot of value there. We believe the South Gold Zone is going to have a resource that hangs together near surface. And there's a few other targets we believe that are quite exciting there as well. The same South Mine Horizon and North Mine Horizon, they see at the Eagle claim to the east of us. We have that same horizon coming through our property. So those grades they're seeing at the Eagle claim may very well come into the same property we have.
All right. Well, it was short and sweet, but David, I want to thank you again for coming on. I want to thank everyone in the audience for coming on, and I hope you and everyone has a good rest of the day. Cheers.
Okay. Thanks so much.